Okay, last time we used it, I set it off over here to the side of the barn. Wasn't thinking about it. Had the jack stands under the front end, my temporaries that I could take and use with me. And forgot that I used to park my cattle trailer over here and that there was a couple of holes that the dog had dug underneath it, and it had shifted. Back wheels had shifted and sunk down into puppy holes, which anybody that's got dogs, especially heelers, knows how much they love to dig. And it's just par for the course. You get used to it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this thing over here on the barrel and try and show me cranking this thing up now that I've got it straightened out. You'll notice there's no truck attached to it. I'm just manipulating the trailer by hand, and it's at that point now to where there's enough of it on the trailer that it'll pretty much stay where I put it. So I'm going to set this down. We'll see how well this works. sucker up. And as with anything, when I try to do something to show somebody, something always goes a little wrong, but I can show you the gist of it. That's how you secure the box to the trailer. 2 pins, one on each side. Wood got a little wet, it soaked up a little bit, and I realized that one of my slides is folded a little, so the other side is not wanting to cooperate. But I'll get that straightened out here in a little bit. If you notice, you'll see that I took the jack that we had made, I'll pick it up, that I made in the other video, and on my first inaugural run, it worked with the solid feet that I put on there, and I'll show you the solid. There's the other back jack. And then here's one of the solids. Notice I got a nice round foot on the bottom of it. Works real well. Well, what I wound up doing on the first time, the intention was that you left the trailer hooked to the truck, ejected the cargo box with the winch. That's why those strings are running underneath the box. They go around the roller, and this winch is long enough that I've got about a 5-foot tether left. I can pull the strap underneath the trailer, go around that roller, and come back up and hook it in and slide it out, powered by the winch, by the hand crank. And that part worked until you got the back jacks on the ground. And then you had the choice of, you either had to unhook from the trailer, pull the truck up, and let the weight of the box eject the trailer out from underneath it, which in some situations would be fine, but some of the parks that I go to, that's not that ideal of a setup. So I got thinking I needed some way for this thing to roll on the back end. because everything I do usually goes through a couple of generations before I come up with the final. And this was my idea, and of course it's not exact. It's where I tested it, and I bought just some plastic metal insert, 500 pound, 600 pound dolly wheels. They were cheap. I could afford them at the time. I drilled a grease insert into them so that, yes, I could grease them so they would roll easier, and then set the spacing that I wanted. And they work better, a lot better. I can actually leave this trailer hooked to my truck, pull the pins, move it back about 6 inches, and then put those wheels in there and literally roll it out. It'll roll till I get right at the end, and then that's where those little jack stands come into play. I put them about a third of the way from the front of the trailer, from the front of the box back, roughly right in front of where that fender's sitting on it now, the front bar or the front cross member of the axle. And I can go ahead and get out from under the box and then put my front jacks in place, throw my levels on the trailer, take my 18-volt cordless impact driver and level the box up, get it all set, and then throw my 2-man boat back on the trailer and go ahead and put the engines and everything on it. And depending on where I'm at, if the park's got a good ramp, I won't do anything. If the park's got a mediocre boat ramp, I can pull this tongue another 6 foot outwards, because that's a piece of 2-inch by 1/4 square tubing that runs all the way back in there, about 7.5, 8 foot. I can slide that out, repin it, and I've got a longer boat trailer that I can back down into the water. And if I don't want my tires getting wet or the boat ramp, the water's real low, and I don't want to take the risk of the truck going off the end of the ramp, that gives me a little more leeway, especially in some of these smaller lakes that I like to fish that fluctuate greatly, especially when we're in drought conditions like we have been the last 8 years. This was original to the trailer, yes. One of the ramps, because where I grew up, it was necessary to always keep the truck on dry ground, because around here there are a lot of what we call soil conservation service lakes. They were built in the 50s and 60s to do exactly what they say, retain topsoil. And now they are very, very fishable, provided you can get the boat in the water. They're very shallow for the most part, with the exception of some places, some spots right by the dam. And where I grew up, I'm in the blackland, black gumbo, and if your tires ever come close to the soft or the damp mud, there's a good bet it's going to sink. So that's how I come up with this sliding tongue design for this utility trailer, because I can haul my 4-wheelers, I can haul my fence supplies, I can throw that 10-man boat on there, 10-foot boat, 2-man boat, and go fishing when we're off having fun. Or it just sits. And I've got this, you'll see this right here, and I know somebody's going to say, what's that strap? Actually, one of the ramps that I've got for this trailer fits down over the tongue and pins from the bottom, and then I use that strap to hold the top part of the ramp down to stabilize it, and I essentially have a walking plank all the way to the bed of my trailer, which acts as a dock when it's in the water. And yes, I try not to go past the seals on the axle